The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you for joining us here on show number 502 as we talk real estate in a special motivational edition, at least part of the show today, as we will talk to a coach. His name is Jeremy Williams. So let's get started with Jeremy. I am your host, Bill Knapik. You're listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Jeremy Williams. The book is called Survive, Scale, and Soar. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Bill, thank you for inviting me to the show. I'm excited about being able to share and talk to you a little bit about the end of the year and getting us ready for next year.
In fact, I heard it said that everybody needs a coach in some way or another. So let's tell people, first of all, your company is called Red Hawk Coaching.
Yes, everybody does need a coach. I mean, you look at anybody that's succeeded at such a high level, they might not just have one coach, but they may have coaches in different aspects of their life. And, you know, coaching is oftentimes seen as an expense to somebody that hasn't been coached before, but in reality, it's actually an investment into their business or their life or whatever aspect they're looking to move forward on. It's giving them the shortcut from A to B.
A to B. So let's tell people, as far as what inspired you, Jeremy, to start your coaching business?
I've been coaching since 2010. I've just always been a person that's wanted to help people get to the next level. I had some mentors and coaches along the way that helped me to achieve what I wanted, and I just really enjoyed that aspect of the business. And so I went from sales into that leadership role of being able to coach, and eventually in 2017 went out on my own to build my own coaching business.
And of course, we'll tell people you're located right here north of Houston, but who are the people you're helping geographically? Do you go outside of Houston, or you're just in the Houston area?
Well, absolutely. I go outside of the Houston area. I've coached people all over the country. Majority of my business is in Texas, yet I've coached people in New Jersey, California, Mississippi, all over the place. 80% of my business is real estate agents, about 20% is small business owners.
In fact, you beat me to the question. I was going to say mostly you're in the real estate world. And when we say real estate agent, would you be also helping other real estate professionals, so to speak, maybe people in the mortgage or otherwise?
Oh, absolutely. So I've worked with mortgage brokers, insurance agents, brokers, team leads, individual real estate agents, and anybody in the business that's looking to take their business to that next level.
And let's give people an idea. Let's say I engaged your services for coaching, and how does that work? Do you have different programs, or what's the basics? If I say, hey, let's get started on a coaching program. It's the end of the year. I want to have a fantastic 2024. I need a coach. How do we begin?
I offer 3 different packages. I have a 3-month, a 6-month, and an annual package, and they come at different rates. They're one-on-one coaching sessions. We meet weekly, and a guarantee from anywhere from 10 to 40 sessions, and then the opportunity to re-sign at the end. And I have a lot of agents that take advantage, and small business owners that take advantage of a 3-month package, and they renew at the end.
And in the book, Survive, Scale, and Soar, I like the very beginning. It doesn't have anything to do with motivation, but it tells people where you came from. And I'm going to quote, it says, I grew up in a log cabin above the Balcones Escarpment and at the door of the Texas Hill Country. And I like this part. I was often in the presence of diamondback and occasional sidewinder rattlesnakes, along with the devil bug, as I deemed them, which is also known as the scorpion.
Yeah, we grew up. I grew up in a small town of San Marcos, Texas. I lived between San Marcos and Wimberley, and we grew up in a log cabin that we actually built. And you know, it was not a rarity to have a rattlesnake sitting out on the porch, or oftentimes waking up to a scorpion in your bed. And it was just part of life. And so it was always fun when the city folks came into town. to stay with us.
One of the things I like about where I live, so far I have not seen any of those creatures, and I don't want to either. But, one of the things I think about, it's almost like life, too. The business world, hey, there's rattlesnakes, there's scorpions, there are other challenges that are out there. Thus, it's great to have a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be a challenge. Any small business that you own, you're going to face a challenge. In life, you face challenges. And this is a great time of year to be able to start looking back and reflecting on how your 2023 was and looking at those challenges ahead and starting to prepare by building a plan. And when you build that plan and you execute on it, there's going to be great things that are going to happen for you in 2024.
So going back to the idea of beginning a coaching work with you and your company, what are tell people the very beginning, what the first things that you establish with the person you're coaching and how that begins?
It's one of the points of my book. It's clarity. You have to have clarity. Clarity is power. And if you don't have clarity, if you don't understand why you're doing what you're doing, that's also the other thing you need to figure out is you can't just go into a business with sometimes the why may be money. The why may be supporting your family. The why may be just showing the world that you can do something. But you have to have a lot of clarity around that in order to put together a plan that's going to push you through to achieve your goals.
In fact, that's one of the chapters in the book, Clarity. What about the one where you have another chapter called Stop Worrying About Others? I can guess what that is, but
there's going to be others along your path that are going to try to pull you down. There's
the rattlesnakes,
the scorpions. Yes, they're going to be there. They're going to pull you down. They don't want to see you be successful, or maybe you're experiencing success and they're not. And so they want to be that millstone around your neck. And, you've heard that saying, misery is company. And so you know that if you're progressing, I always say I'm over the target when, I call them the haters. When the haters start coming around, I know I'm over the target and I'm moving in the right direction, just because there's going to be times that people don't want to see you successful. And you've got to tune out that noise and be able to keep your eyes focused on the prize and just keep pushing towards it. It's got to be something you believe in. It's got to be something that you're passionate about. It's got to be something that you want. And not everybody's going to want that for you.
Well, there's other chapters that we won't have time to mention, but the other one that stands out is leverage, and that's near the end of the book. Tell us about leverage.
You hear the saying, it takes a village. And, I hear always somebody says, well, I'm self-made. And it's like, really? Let's look around you and see all the people that have impacted you and helped you along the journey. That's not saying you're not going to put in a lot of work, but there's going to be times that you get to a certain place where you can't do it all on your own. And if you're going to get to that next level, you're going to need to ask for help. You're going to need to look for maybe a key hire in your business to help leverage some of that administrative stuff off so you can go focus on the things that are making you money.
We're talking with Jeremy Williams. The company is Red Hawk Coaching. And what are some of the things that you do, Jeremy? Here you are at the end of the year, a reflective time for all of us. But as you think forward and plan your 2024, what are the things that you do to motivate yourself and also to get ready for this big year coming up?
There's three questions that everybody should ask themselves, whether it be at the end of the year or at the end of a day. What did I do well? What did I not do so well? And what am I going to do better? And so that's what I do when I'm sitting down and I'm looking at my goals for the next year. Is I'm asking myself, what did I do well? What did I do not so well? And what can I do better? And then I build my plan around that. You're going to fail in business, and it's just a learning opportunity. You got to reframe that and take it as a learning opportunity and make the corrections so that when you see that again or that situation again, you're able to overcome it, or you have the tools now necessary to overcome it. And so there's a lot of people out there that they'll fail and they'll stop. And you can't do that as a business owner. You hear that a lot in the real estate market right now. Well, it's tough and it's different, and are the rates going to go up and down? It doesn't matter. Like, go out and do the activities you need to be doing every day, and great things are going to happen. And ask yourself those questions: where can I improve? And then make that part of your business plan.
I also have found you as I was looking at podcasts. Let's tell people about the podcast that you have.
Well, interestingly enough, it's the same name as my book, Survive, Scale, Soar. We're on 84th episode. We just accomplished, and it's talking with small business owners. Sometimes it's me sharing my thoughts about what's happening in the world and how that might impact a person's business. And it's talking about the challenges, the successes, how they've overcome those things. And so if you're a small business owner that's looking just to get better, I invite you to come take a look at it and hear us out.
It'd be on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. It's on Apple Podcast. It's on Amazon Music. It's wherever you listen to podcasts.
Survive, Scale, and Soar. Jeremy, what else do you want people to know here before we conclude the segment?
You know, I just want to encourage small business owners as they're getting to the end of the year is, set yourself some life goals as well. Set yourself some business goals, but don't give up. It's challenging. Being a small business owner is not easy. If somebody's thinking, I'm just going to become a small business owner, it's sexy, it's exciting.
I got my own business.
I got my own.
I'm a CEO of Bill Incorporated.
Right. Well, that's good. That's a first step. Yeah, you're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to work hard. There are no shortcuts. Put in the work, stay the course, and great things are gonna happen for you.
One quick word on goal setting. If there were one thing to think about as we set our goals for next week, next year, what should we think about?
The biggest one, the one that I'm working on, it's my number one goal. It's not even related to my business, is health. Make sure that you're healthy. If you hear health is wealth, and if you want longevity in the business, whether it be a real estate agent or insurance or mortgage broker, you've got to be in good health. So take care of that, not just for you. Take care of it for your family. Take care of it for your business. But make health a big part of your goal. Absolutely.
Jeremy, let's tell people how they can reach you.
The best way to find what I'm doing is visit my website, www.redhawkcoaching.com.
redhawkcoaching.com. Jeremy, thanks for being with us.
Bill, I appreciate the opportunity.
Let's talk to Letitia Grant. Her company is called TAS Realty Group. Letitia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Bill. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to see you. We've heard so much about you. First of all, the company is called TAS Realty Group. Let's tell people what TAS stands for.
Yes, the T is for tenacious, the A is for aggressive, and the S is for successful. So tenacious, aggressive, successful.
See, that's what Elvis needed. He had TCB. TAS is the way to go. That's right. There's no doubt about it. And as far as the name of the company, who and where did the name come from?
It's a very interesting story. Part of the time I worked for a company called Knapik, and I met a broker, and he said, with your tenacity, why are you there? So when I decided to branch off and start my own brokerage, that always stuck out. Tenacity. So I'm like, how do I incorporate that into the name of my business? And I was driving down the street one day, and it hit me, TAS Realty Group. The T would stand for tenacious, and I just had to put together the rest, and we've been moving ever since.
It's always interesting how inspiration does hit us, and sometimes it just sticks, and it works for our business and even the other parts of our life.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what happened. His name is Shad Bogny, so I always give him credit, and ironically enough, he does not even remember the conversation. But that just goes to show you how much of an impact you have on other people's lives. So with that being stated, I'm an only child, so I've always been extremely aggressive in getting what I want and what I feel that I do or know that I deserve. So when putting it all together, it just definitely worked for the company. And with working for the company, we are able to work for our clients as well.
And as you said, you're also a broker. What inspired you to become a broker? Because many people just say, hey, I'm a realtor, I have my license, and that's just fine. But what was the motivation to say, hey, I want to take this to another level?
Yeah, to take it to another level, when after my term ended with NACA, I decided to get my brokerage license. And at that time, you only had to be an agent for 2 years. So I said, I'm just going to get it and have it in my back pocket. Well, I began operating as a broker and receiving calls from other agents. Letitia, are you looking to bring on agents? And I said, wait, this may be something. So let's continue this process. And we did just that. So the brokerage, and I guess, what is the story? You're born a leader. So as agents started to come, started leading, and here we are.
So at this point in time, Letitia, how many agents are part of the team?
At this point in time, we have 14 agents, and we have 2 full-time staff members.
Give people an idea as far as helping buyers and sellers right now. You and your team, do you work anywhere geographically more than other places, or? Mm-hmm.
So I am a Texas Affordable Housing Specialist. So I mostly, at this present time, I work more so in the City Gas and Acres Homes area. We do branch out to Sunnyside and other areas, but for the most part, I am definitely in Sunnyside and Acres Homes. That was the major number of our listings. That's the gross number of our listings. Our agents do work all over Houston, but the majority of the time spent is going to be there.
Now, for those listening outside of Houston, tell people about where those areas are.
Yes, that is going to be north of Houston, north to northeast. Yes, Houston is huge. And if
It's
you're listening
gigantic.
outside of Houston and you come to Houston and you want to buy a home in Houston, that is not enough information. We need so much more than that. So, yes, that is the north to the northeast side of Houston.
So how's the market there right now?
It's awesome. As Texas Affordable Housing Specialist, our properties are below market. And I have one listing, new construction, for $180,000. And
New construction?
New construction. And I also work with, I'm not sure that you're familiar with Robbins Landing. We've just signed
I've
the
heard of it.
contract for Robbins Landing. And those sales prices will start at $180,000. New construction, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage.
You might have just sold some homes right now. And there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
No, not
Come
at all.
on.
Not at all. That's our purpose. So where we go.
That is unbelievable. So the market is good. But what, now we hear about the interest rates and all that. I mean, the market is still good. Why?
The market is still good.
The interest rates aren't really hindering in your world.
Well,
It sounds like.
that is correct. The interest rates aren't necessarily hindering in my world. We are still doing buy downs, just as many people are. We're asking the sellers to pay buy downs. But the pleasant part of it is our buyers are able to utilize some of the free funding that they're receiving to buy down their interest rate. Many of our buyers are receiving $50,000 in grant funds, so they can use some of that money to buy their interest rate down to get it a little lower, a little more attainable to where they need it to be. But of course, the sales prices don't hurt either.
So the good thing is to work. A lot of realtors may not know about all this.
Yes.
So it goes back to the idea of working with a professional and working with someone that knows a specific market.
Yes.
So you're able to help people find the ways that they can have home ownership and save money and qualify also.
Absolutely. So when we start talking about home ownership, what we know is home ownership is for everyone. And with home ownership being for everyone, there is a way to make it happen. The question is, what do you need to put together? What package do we need to create in effort for you to be able to attain home ownership? Whether that is purchasing a home that's $180,000, or is that going to be utilizing that $150,000, $200,000 in down payment assistance that's available to you. So there are just so many options out there.
Well, not only that, one of the things, just a real estate professional or real estate agent in general has to be on top of all the changes. And I would think in what you're talking about with assistants and just real estate in general, how do you keep up with all the ever-changing governmental nuances and rules and that? And then every now and then there's something new that comes down the pike that could be helpful too.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, you never stop learning. So I know you think you graduated college, you're done, it's over. It's not. As a real estate professional, you never stop learning. And the good thing for me is 2024, I'm just announced the HAR Professional Standards Chair. So all of this information that I house, I will be sharing it with other real estate professionals as well so that people stay abreast. So some of the things you can do, you can become involved in other organizations. You can become involved with HAR, whom you most likely pay dues to already, just so that you can obtain that information. Government directly impacts real estate. There is no escaping it. So when I started this business, I'm like, oh no, I hate politics.
Learn about the government. That's right.
Yeah, but you just can't. It's no longer how you feel personally.
And going in the idea of doing what others don't want to do, one of the things, and I know from another business, is far as working with the government in any way, shape, or form. A lot of people stay away from it because there's rules, there's details, but those that go forth, like yourself, and figure it out and become experts, you succeed.
A niche.
It's a niche, and you succeed and do well. And in addition, you're helping people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the part that I love. So that's what definitely keeps me motivated, being able to help them, help those clients.
So you're beating me to the next question. How do you stay motivated?
Oh, well, look, let me just tell you.
I think there's more, though, to that answer.
Yes. It is the generational shifts. So for me in my particular market, it's not just about the one client that we're assisting. Many of my buyers are first-generation homeowners. So we're talking generation shifts where now they're able to tell their children, I bought a home. You can do the same thing. That keeps me motivated and excited, regardless if I represent the seller or if I represent the buyer. It is the same story with every transaction.
You know, it just came to my mind. Here we are in the holiday season. We just had Thanksgiving. There's going to be a lot of family gatherings.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think family gatherings could be, for the right real estate professional and or broker, that's ground zero for referrals.
That's ground
People
zero.
are visiting in the house that you just sold. Well, a nice house. I like. Call Letitia.
That's right.
It happens, doesn't it?
That's right. It happens all the time. People are like, well,
Especially
how
this.
did you afford a home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call Letitia.
Yep.
That sounds like a slogan.
Just call Letitia.
Well, that's awesome. So as you look ahead, 2024, what else do you want to announce what's going on? A lot of stuff going on in your world. I could see it.
A lot of stuff going on in my world. Number one, I will be the chair of professional standards for HAR. In addition to that, Robbins Landing will launch and have its first client moving in for 2024. We also will have additional properties listed by the Houston Land Bank and the CHODO program, which is CHDO. And buyers only have to qualify for $135,000 as far as the sales price is concerned, and the rest is a subsidy. So we will have an additional 6 properties launching for that particular program.
Okay, so how do you stay organized with all this going on, HAR, being a broker? You're leading others. You're a leader. So what are some of the things that people out there are saying, hey, I need some advice from Letitia? What are some of the things that you do to keep in mind to stay balanced and make sure everything's going as smooth as possible?
Yeah, we cannot do this without a team. And I'm sure everyone will attest to that. Without a team, there is no way for all of this to be possible. So I have an individual in my office that her name is Tiffany, and she strictly works on the Robbins Landing project and on the Houston Land Bank project. That allows me the opportunity to come out and speak to the public and speak to individuals about things that are going on. In addition to that, our schedule is produced in a way that I am able to ensure that nothing overlaps. Because when you're leading most of the organizations or most of the areas, you're able to also properly plan and ensure that things don't overlap.
What about the idea of having fun with what you do? That makes you better, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
You're having some fun.
I am having lots of fun.
Before we close this segment, Letitia Grant, what else do you want people to know?
Well, I definitely want everyone to know that homeownership is attainable. If you can see it, if you can think it, you can have it. So homeownership is not just a dream. It will become your reality.
And let's tell people how to reach you, Letitia Grant.
Yes, my name is Letitia Grant, Executive Managing Broker of TAS Realty Group. Our office is located just outside of Oak Forest. My phone number is 713-929-3411, and email Letitia, that's LATISHA @TASRealtyGroup.com.
The number again is
713-929-3411.
tenacious, aggressive, successful. TAS Realty Group. Thank you, Letitia.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed myself.
As we continue, let's talk to Mitch Medigovich. His company is Fairway Mortgage. Mitch, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
In fact, the Wood Group of Fairway, it's called, right?
Wood Group of Fairway Independent Mortgage.
Well, let's tell people about the Wood Group.
The Wood Group of Fairway Independent Mortgage is a group of about 150 professionals between originators and underwriters, processors, and all of that sort of thing. And we're spanned across Texas, the Wood Group alone. And then we go outside of Texas as well. So we've got a couple of guys that put that together back in 2010.
And in fact, now you are based right here in the Houston area with Cypress, right?
That's right. 290 and 249 in Jones.
So as you're helping people get loans and so forth, you're focusing on that area, or about how far do you go out geographically?
I actually do. So I focus on Cypress and 30 miles around it, but I'm changing up my strategy a bit for 2024. And that's going, I'm not going to tell the whole secret to the secret sauce, but we have a plan to really increase market share over the next year.
Well, I guess we'll stay tuned to find out what that is as you could progress in 2024. But it sounds like you got a real plan that's going to be something unique.
Outstanding plan. Each one of our loan officers, we're finding opportunities for them, and we place them in the right spots in order to make sure that they can be as successful as possible, but to also make sure that we're helping our partners and the community as a whole.
It always makes it exciting when we come upon a discovery and we're ready to deploy it. And here you are, 2024. You're going to be excited about that, right?
I'm already excited.
So now let's tell people a little bit more about the Wood Group and Fairway Mortgage.
So Wood Group and Fairway is a couple of guys, brothers named Matt and Mark. So Matt and Mark, you've got one of them's a strategist, the other one's tactical. So the one's boots on the ground, the other one's a visionary. He sees out for years and years. The other one's working days, hours, and months, right? So they put this system together so it makes it, as a loan officer, makes it super easy just to do loans because they've already got the systems in place to get things done. All we have to do is go build relationships, have some fun, and bring some families in and help them out.
Matt, Mark, and Mitch.
Matt, Mark, and Mitch.
Sounds like a law firm.
That's right.
But not.
Mortgage.
So as far as people applying for, we hear people talk about the rates and they're discouraged and all those sorts of things, but it's really not that gloomy. It's there's light and there's excitement. You need the money. You help people right now.
That's right. So, Bill, I've been doing this since 1992, and I'm going to ask you one question. What was the beginning of Gone with the Wind? What was the intro to Gone with the Wind?
I don't know.
It was the best of times, and it was the worst of times.
Okay.
This is all we're in. It's a mindset, 100% mindset.
Go back to 1992. How many years ago is that?
31, 32 years.
I lost track. That's a long time. So you've seen. It's like everything else. Rates go up, rates go down. There were different challenges then, but there's also new opportunities right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But the system for getting business and doing it and going out and doing it hasn't changed. So I found something from 1987 that's still in my paperwork. I hold on to stuff, right? And the formula was A times F equals S, and that's action times frequency equals success. Nowadays, it's VCP, visibility, credibility, profitability. Visibility times credibility equals profitability. So it's not any different. It's all the same. You just have to go out and do the work.
This is indeed a motivational show today as we have these things, because these are the things that drive us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to be inspired. We also have to think of new ideas and how to forge and adjust to the ever-changing market, whether we're in real estate or anything else.
That's right. You just have to get up, get out of bed, make your bed. That's your first accomplishment of the day, and then go do it. Go finish the rest of the day.
So what are some of the other things that you're thinking about, Mitch, as we're winding up the year and you're getting ready for next year?
So I'm thinking about, obviously, our strategy. One of the things that you have to do, you mentioned interest rates, is you have to sell what's on the shelf. Whether you're a real estate agent or a mortgage person, you've got to sell what's on the shelf and not really be too concerned about what's coming up. What's past, that's past. What's coming up, you have to have an idea about it. So let's talk about that, the forecast for next year. Probably look into recession, and recession always helps mortgage interest rates. It'll always drop it down a bit. And we can see that over the last 50 years in the different recession periods. How long do I think this recession will last? Well, 2008 was 2 years. I figure this one will be 2 years. We're 18 months into this funky, what they call funky market, right? Because we're coming off of a crazy 2020, 2021. So what's coming up next year? We'll probably see better interest rates. We can already see it right now with mortgage bonds. Mortgage bonds are better than they've been since late August.
So what about some of the other things as we talk about the interest rate outlooks? What about unemployment protection? What's that?
Well, we're going to see some news coming up this week with CPI data that will be coming out. Unemployment data will be coming out. So the thing is that we as people are still spending money, and that is continuing to make it appear that we're in this great market, right? But while people's savings have depleted since 2020, because it was at a record high in 2020, nobody was spending money. Now they're spending money with credit cards and things, and we're starting to see the slowdown. What we need is that slowdown so that we see inflation come down a bit as well. That's part of what goes into fixing interest rates or raising interest rates as inflation, unemployment numbers, that all those sorts of things. So how that's going to impact mortgage rates next year.
Well, of course, we're speculating. We have no idea what's really going to happen, but we know it's going to be an interesting year. We also know that as people move, how much, let's say in the last 6 months or even year, has the influx of people from other places affected your company, Fairway Mortgage, the Wood Group?
It's continued to keep us going. So with our connections across the country, we're seeing tons of people moving into Texas. So that's been great for Texas. One of the great things about growing up in Arizona, moving up to Colorado for a period of time, and then coming here, I was able to do business across the country and watch what was going on across the country. Texas has always been fairly stable. And I teach some classes on what the market looks like, what real estate market side looks like, interest rates and all that sort of thing. And Texas and Houston specifically has always been fairly stable.
Well, people are still arriving here, so that's good for our market. How do they find the Wood Group?
The internet, referrals. We deal a lot on referrals and the great work that we do for our customers. We get a lot of referrals that way outside of networking and coming on shows like this where we've got real estate agents and everything else that are involved. So
it's a pretty exciting show here today. In fact, I'm looking at Mark Wood's credentials. It sounds like he might be part of it too, as far as his strategy and the logistics.
Yeah, he's a big part of it. The Wood Group as a whole, you figure you've got Matt, who was tactical with this whole thing.
He was in the military, right?
Well, Mark was in the military.
Okay.
So Mark served and was also a professor with one of the agencies there, and then going on to some of the other things that we've got written down. I've got to bring it up because it's pretty cool information. So he was a professor at the U.S. Military Academy, and a director at the U.S. Army War College.
So you're working with these guys.
I'm working with these guys.
Man, I'd be calling him up all the time for advice.
And we're talking about books on this episode, right? So you think Jocko Willink and Extreme Ownership, we've got that kind of leadership within our group. It's just somewhere you want to be.
Are they in Texas, Matt and Mark?
They are. So they're in Temple. Temple.
Well, maybe have them on the show sometime.
You definitely should.
Well, that sounds awesome. Give us an idea. We're talking with Mitch Medigovich, Fairway Mortgage, the Wood Group. What are some of the other things we need to know, Mitch?
A couple of the other things that you need to know is that how we're helping people through higher interest rates is obviously the temporary buy-downs we talked a little bit about, but we're also partnering with our builders and offering them forward commitments. So you hear about those builders that are buyers are getting these super low, abnormally low interest rates. We can offer the same thing to our builders if you don't already have that ready to roll. Especially if you've got some inventory that you need to get rid of by the end of the year.
How does it work from your perspective as far as all the different types of loans there are, right? There's individuals, there's couples, there's veterans, there's people with other nuances. As the mortgage loan officer, how do you figure out what's right? What's the process or the conversation that where we know this is the right loan for me? How does that work? Similar
to you going into a doctor. Actually, let's tell the story about the mechanic that goes in and fixes the big ship engine. He goes in, and the pilot of the ship, or captain of the ship, has been trying to get this engine fixed, and he just can't get it fixed. So they call in this one guy. He comes in, looks at it, taps on the engine a few times after looking at the overall picture, taps on it a few times and says, "Here's my bill." And the captain says, "Well, how are you going to charge me this amount of money for this little couple of taps with the hammer?" And he says, "Well, it's not about the couple of taps on the hammer. It's the knowledge I've spent over the last 30 years figuring out where to tap on that engine to make it work." So that's one of the ways. Outside of that, it's just a matter of kind of you going into the doctor. We've got to diagnose what's going on. We look at it, we put the puzzle together and say,
there you go.
Here's a couple of good examples.
Mitch, let's tell people how they can reach you.
So you can get a hold of me at 281-581-0462 or on my website at mitchknows.com. It's at 281-581-0462 or mitchknows.com.
mitchknows.com. Mitch Medigovich. Mitch, thanks for being with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bill.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is with Stewart Insurance, John Bramlett. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Happy December.
It is December, exciting. Few weeks left to the month and the year, and here we go, 2024.
It's right around the corner. It's exciting times.
It really is. Insurance, once again, it's so exciting. It's necessary, and being properly insured, having the right insurance plans in effect, policies in effect, are so important to our overall well-being and financial health, really.
Well, it's coincidental, I guess, or just good karma with Jeremy and Letitia and Mitch talking about preparations for 2024 and what they do to make sure that the year is going to be successful. I wanted to talk a little bit about taking December as a time to kind of evaluate where you stand with your insurance, whether it be your personal insurance or professional insurance.
Well, this is the perfect time for that.
It is. It is a good time to do that. And if you're looking at your personal insurance, there are things that you can take a look at for consideration. So, have the number of drivers in my household changed from an auto perspective? Have the number of drivers in my household changed? What are the age and types of vehicles I have? How often do I drive? How far do I drive? Where do I drive? Those all can come into play as you evaluate your home insurance or your auto insurance, and then having conversations with your insurance advisor can help you determine, again, what's the best coverage and different ways that you can manage that coverage.
Well, that's right. Auto, and that's just one component of the big insurance world that we all have. Who's going to be driving? And also, we may have not added a driver, but we might be adding one later in the year.
Absolutely.
So we want to be getting ready for that. In some cases, we might even have to save some money.
Well, absolutely. And there's some things that you can do to save some money. Most of the insurance companies now have a telematics product. Basically, all that is a pay for how you drive. So the safer you drive, in theory, the less you would pay in premium, the cost of the insurance. So most of the telematics products work off a smartphone, and they're generally a 90-day program. And they'll evaluate how you drive, and based upon that, you can have savings up to, in some cases, 30%. And some companies will even offer you savings just for signing up for the telematics. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. Knowing the specifics about your car and sharing that with your insurance advisor is really helpful. I mean, they're going to want to know the VIN number, and they're going to want to know the make and model. That's obvious. But if you've done some things from a security perspective or safety perspective to add to the car, to protect the car, if they can let them know about how you drive, what do you expect to drive for the upcoming year, give them a feel for what that distance is from home to work. If you're spending most of your time working from home, that could affect your premium versus if you were driving 40 miles each way. So that's something that you can share with them. And again, just who are the drivers? What's their safety record? If you have your drivers are safe drivers, and you've been able to prove they're safe drivers, and maybe everybody's all voluntarily taken defensive driving. Those are some things that you can look at, to help manage those costs. Understanding what's important to you from a coverage perspective, understanding what your state requires from a coverage perspective. If you have a loan on the vehicle, is there a requirement, from the lender on that? The ability to shop around, working with an independent insurance advisor, you can shop around and find not only the best rate, but the best coverage for the individual.
Interesting you mentioned defensive driving. I kind of forgot about that. So it's defensive driving. Someone can take that. Certainly if they get a ticket, I hear you take it then. Fortunately, I have not. I've been a model driver for many years now, just saying. But someone can take defensive driving even if they didn't get a ticket and maybe get a lower rate?
That's correct.
I forgot.
So there are some insurance carriers that will provide some savings based upon that. If you are a model driver, as you are, then that telematics might make sense for you. So it's a way to the way for the insurance company that you can prove to them that I am a good driver, and based upon that, you might be able to get a reduction in your premium.
Lots of things to think about. But, when we start looking for opportunities, whatever part of our budget to save, it's almost like we'll always find some things to shave and to make things better for our lives, whether it's insurance or anything else.
Well, it's true. And the keys are, understanding how to evaluate what your needs are. And then let's have a conversation about where we can manage those needs if saving money is the case. So, for example, if we're talking about your home insurance, so how is a home being used now that maybe it's different from before? So, again, using the example of you're working from home and maybe you've added on, or you've got your business is based in your home versus it used to be based in a brick and mortar location. Those could affect the coverage that you might want to consider. Have you downsized the house? Have you increased the size of the house? Have you done some things to minimize some of the risks? So let's say you have a swimming pool and before you had a diving board and you've taken that away, or you used to have a trampoline and you've taken that away. So you've done some things to minimize the risk. It's important that your insurance company is aware of those things.
Interesting you mentioned downsizing. A lot of people think that once you're older is when you begin to downsize, but I just talked to a young, dynamic individual that and very successful, and they moved from a 5,000 square foot house with 2 children. They're probably 45-ish, the husband and wife. They moved from a 5,000 square foot house to a 2,700 square foot house. They're much happier. They have a super location. They've downsized. They're living more efficiently and saving money, and they're in a better location for them.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we saw people move, during the pandemic when it looked like that you would really be able to work from home on a consistent basis, that people were moving away from the city and they're looking maybe for some more land or more room, having more space to entertain or having a home office. Now that we're seeing a trend starting to come back, even if it's from a hybrid perspective, but of people working back in the office, that there are folks that are wanting to come back into town, or they miss those conveniences of living inside the city versus living in the suburbs. So again, those types of adjustments can affect, your home coverage.
And at Stewart Insurance, your associates are there to help whatever the configuration of your life is, home, auto, all those things.
Absolutely. So again, we're going to take a look at your lifestyle, take a look at what your needs are. Are there, there portions of coverage that you do need to have? Are there maybe elements of coverage that you don't need to have anymore? Or, if we were to increase a deductible, would that help out? So having those conversations and then working with an independent advisor like we have at Stewart Insurance, they can shop around. They can visit a variety of insurance carriers to determine what's the best coverage for you, whether it be for your home, your personal insurance, as well as your business insurance.
I'm wondering if I moved to a log cabin, if I could save money on my insurance, John. What do you think?
Well, I think it depends on where the log cabin is, Bill. I mean, if you're in Central Texas, you might have a better chance than if you were in Galveston.
Oh, yeah, right.
So, again, and then how you're using the log cabin. Do you have safety windows, and do you have good security in the log cabin? And do you have brand new appliances versus old appliances? What kind of AC do you have? What's your roof, Bill?
Tin.
Okay.
Log cabin with a tin roof, ideal as long as I get internet.
As long as you have internet,
key, yeah.
And no scorpions or snakes.
Ooh. Oh, that's a different thing.
Yeah, so maybe we'll build the log
I'll
cabin.
Stay in the city.
Build the log cabin in Katy, and you'll be much better. Yes,
in the backyard of my house. In the meantime, John, what else should we know about insurance here at the end of the year? What an exciting! I love this time of year.
Well, and I think you need to have the same kind of thought process when it comes to your business insurance. So if you're a real estate broker, you own an independent title and attorney agency, you're a property management firm, or you're a lender, have I seen a change in my staff, whether it be full-time or part-time or contract? What does my gross commissional revenues look like? Have they increased? Have they decreased? Has my overall revenue changed? Have the number of transactions that I've done changed? Have the types of transactions that I've done changed? Am I offering additional services or less services? All those things come into play when we're evaluating your business insurance.
Sounds good, John. Let's tell people how they can reach you.
They can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 798-2827. They can learn more about Stewart Insurance at stewartinsurance.com, or they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
It's a great time of year to make sure that we are all properly insured. Now, John, what if I'm tenacious, aggressive, and successful? Is there a number I can call?
We have a TAS hotline, and it's 866-798-2827.
Thank you so much, John Bramlett.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
Well, here we are on the final segment of the show. We'll get to hear from everybody once again. He is back, Jeremy Williams with Red Hawk Coaching. Well, Jeremy, here we are. What else do you want people to know about what you're doing? Your book, Survive, Scale, and Soar, and so many other great things.
So you can get my book, Survive, Scale, Soar, on Amazon. Also, check out my podcast, Survive, Scale, Soar. It can be found anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Survive, Scale, Soar. And there you're going to find videos that help small business owners reach and achieve their goals. It'll also feature some of the podcasts, some other thoughts. It'll have guest business owners that are coming in to speak about their businesses to help them grow as well.
In fact, I enjoyed you had a podcast with John Altick on. That was a really good one, and he brought forth a lot of information, and it was a great conversation both ways.
It's a great conversation. I interviewed him, and then he came back and interviewed me the next week. So you get to hear my story and where I've come from. And John shares how he built a large organization with JLA Realty. So he's got over 1,200 agents across the state of Texas. And I remember back in the day, I was a competitor with him at my former brokerage, and just being able to watch him grow, it's an amazing thing what he's been able to accomplish just through a lot of hard work.
It's always interesting. We learn from others each and every day, certainly on this show as we meet people. It's pretty awesome. So, once again, anything else we should know? Jeremy Williams.
Just 2024 is coming. Work hard. Be focused on your goals. Go build your business plan, but make sure you execute it, and you'll have great things happen for you. What
about the other part? As we set goals, we have our business plan, but then we have to be nimble to change as things, who knows what's going to lie ahead, right? So give us a word on being nimble and being flexible to be able to adjust as the ship is on a given course.
I always share with my clients not to shift too quickly. Sometimes they'll try a few things out and they're like, oh, it doesn't work. Well, give it enough time. I'd say about every 90 days, reevaluate, ask those questions again. What did I do well, not so well? What do I need to change to keep moving forward towards my goal in 2024? So about every 30 days, check back in with your plan.
Sounds good. Jeremy Williams. Again, the website is?
www.redhawkcoaching.com.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. She is back. Letitia Grant, TAS Realty. Well, Letitia, here we are.
Here we are.
As we close the show, what are some of the other things you want people to know about what you're doing right here in the Houston area and the dynamic company that you're operating?
Well, I want everyone to know that home ownership is possible. That's the very first thing that I want them to know. I also want them to know that Tenacious, Aggressive, Successful TAS Realty Group is here to serve you.
TAS. That's a great name. So what about along the way? I'm going to guess, I don't know, you run into investors.
Yes.
They may say, hey, Letitia, I have this other thing I want. Maybe I want to buy 2 houses, or maybe I want to buy How do you work with investors?
So
because there's so many in this city, and I think they're coming out, especially the cash investors are coming out now here in the last few months. Mm-hmm. But next year, there'll be a lot of them, I think.
Absolutely. Some of our investors we have actually converted to builders, and some of those builders are building properties for the Houston Land Bank. So we're excited to meet all of their needs, however they're seeking. If they're looking to just be investors, some of those flippers, ironically enough, I have seen one, and it's located like off of the Dallas Acorn area, which is northeast of Houston, and that was a flip. So, and we had to. It's a term that many of us have not heard in a while, and it's that 90-day hold rule. It's like, man, it's been a while since I heard that.
Well, I'm hearing too, and this again, we're all speculating here. No one knows what's going to happen, but I'm hearing that now, of course, we always say now is a good time to buy. Most everybody does here, but I'm hearing that and thinking myself that this is a good time to buy these next 3 months.
Absolutely.
Because if the rates go down, there's a pent-up demand that all of a sudden the market could get more active.
Correct.
And prices could start going. What do you think about that idea?
Yeah. You know, as you said.
No one knows.
Well, as you said, now is always the right time to buy. We talk about interest rates between renting and home ownership. Interest rates, renting is 100%. So, of course, the interest rates, even though they're not ideal, it's still a better option to purchase than it is to rent. However, yes, if we get into a situation where interest rates drop and you're already under contract, that's your opportunity to soar. And then, of course, we get into this situation to where now we're in these bidding wars and you know, we have buyers that are crying.
Yeah, we don't want that.
No, we do not.
So, final word before we close this segment, Letitia.
Yeah, well, final word will go to you, Bill. Thank you for an awesome segment. Thank you so very much for giving me that opportunity to share with our audience all of the things that we have to provide. Hopefully, everyone will, those that are not homeowners, they will at least look into it as an option. 2024
could be the year of home ownership for some people, right?
That is correct.
And we also thank Juliana Bareford, our business development person at Stewart Title, for bringing you on the show today. That was a stroke of genius.
Right, exactly. Of course. Thank you, Juliana. She is absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much. Your number again, Letitia?
713-929-3411. 713-929-3411.
Thank you so much for being with us. And now, Mitch is back. Mitch Medigovich, Fairway. Well, Mitch, here it is. We're landing the plane. The wheels are almost on the ground. What else you want people to know about what you're doing there in the mortgage world?
Actually, here's what I want you to know.
Yeah.
I know that everybody has a mortgage person that they know, whether you're just an individual buyer looking to buy a home, you're a builder, or you're even a real estate agent. But I want you to think about the 1925 Yankees. 1925, Babe Ruth was playing on that team, right?
That's right.
But another guy by the name of Wally Pipp was playing on that. He was the first baseman for the 1925 Yankees. He was the best first baseman of all time back then.
Wow.
So, but you know how Babe Ruth liked to party it up. And the night before he went out there, did he point to right field or left field?
Right field.
Right field. So he points out to right field, but you know he did that on a hangover.
Didn't know.
Wally Pipp walked in that day and he was talking, "Hey, Babe, man, I got a headache." Coach hurt him. He said, "Wally, you're going to sit out this game. I'm going to pull somebody off the bench." So he pulls up a no-name guy off the bench, and he goes to first base and plays first base. Poor old Wally Pipp never played another game for the Yankees in his life after that no-name guy went on to first base, because the first baseman now played 2,103 consecutive games once he was put in the game. That guy was Lou Gehrig.
How about that?
Right?
There you are.
So what I'm saying is put me on the bench. Put us on the bench. And one of these days, your loan officer might not answer the phone. They might go on vacation. They might do whatever it is. Call us up. We'll be your Lou Gehrig.
Call Mitch. Mitch, let's tell people how they can reach you.
281-581-0462. My number's 281-581-0462, and you can hit me on the MitchKnows.com website as well.
Mitch Knows. Thank you for being with us, Mitch, and thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett, all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We appreciate you so much. We are thankful for you. We look forward to 2024. We have a couple more shows here to close out the year coming up, so stay with us every week at 5 o'clock at the time of broadcast or streaming on the iHeartRadio app. That's right, AM 950 KPRC. And you could also see and hear all the shows at stewart.com/radio. That's right, stewart.com/radio. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Mitch, what did the loan officer say to the marsupial when he asked how his loan was progressing?
I don't know, Bill. What did he say?
The loan officer said, "I'm sorry, but you don't qualify."